My parents have always favored my sister over me, and I finally realized it's broken me more than I ever wanted to admit. I 22M grew up in a house where love always seemed to have conditions. I have one sibling, a younger sister named Emily 19F, and from the time we were old enough to walk and talk, it was clear she was the favorite. Everyone in our extended family could see it. Everyone except my parents, who still insist they treat us the same. When we were little, it didn't feel like a big deal. Emily was cute, bubbly, always smiling. The kind of kid who could charm anyone in 10 seconds. I was quieter, more reserved. I liked to read, draw, and build stuff. She liked attention, and she always got it. My mom would fawn over her outfits, take 100 pictures before school, and post them online. For me, it was just, go stand next to your sister so I can get one picture of you both. Birthdays were the first thing I noticed. Emily's birthdays were events, big parties, decorations, piles of gifts, everyone singing, family coming from out of town. My birthdays were quieter. A small cake from the grocery store, and maybe a gift or two if my parents remembered. I remember being 10 and asking for a bike. They said money was tight. 2 weeks later, Emily got a brand new pink scooter, just because she'd been so good lately. I remember watching her ride it around the driveway while my mom cheered and took photos. I just sat on the porch and tried not to cry. As we got older, the pattern never changed. It just got more subtle, more painful. Emily got praised for everything, no matter how small. If she got a B on a test, my parents would tell her how proud they were. If I got an A, my dad would just nod and say, "That's what we expect from you." When Emily messed something up, it was always someone else's fault or she's still learning. When I made a mistake, it was, "You need to start being more responsible." I remember one time in middle school, I got an art award for a drawing that got featured in a local exhibit. My mom said she couldn't make it to the event because she had to take Emily to her dance practice. My dad said he was too tired from work. I ended up standing there alone, watching other parents take pictures with their kids holding flowers. I told myself it didn't matter, but it did. It always did. High school made the gap even wider. Emily joined dance teams, and my parents poured thousands into costumes, makeup, hotel stays, and travel for competitions. When I wanted to join the basketball team, I needed new shoes. My dad told me, "Sports are expensive, and you should be focusing on school anyway." He always said that I should be grateful that they weren't pushing me into anything. What he meant was, "We don't care enough to support you." She failed her driver's test twice. They laughed it off and said, "She's just nervous." When I failed mine once, my dad told me I was irresponsible and needed to get my act together. At 16, I got a job bagging groceries to save for a car. I worked weekends after school, during breaks. I was so proud of myself when I finally bought a used 1998 Honda Civic. When Emily turned 16, they bought her a brand new Toyota Corolla. "It's safer for her," they said. I didn't say anything. I just smiled, because by that point, I'd learned that being upset only made me the problem. The thing that broke me the most was when she crashed that same Corolla about 6 months later because she was texting and driving. Totally wrecked it. My parents' reaction? "It's okay, sweetie. We're just glad you're safe." A couple of months later, she had another new car in the driveway. When I told my mom my Civic was having engine trouble and I couldn't afford repairs, she said, "You need to learn how to manage your money better." I just said okay and went back to my room. That was the night I realized how little I really mattered to them. When I got accepted into college, I told my parents, and they said, "That's great. How are you planning to pay for it?" No excitement, no congratulations. When Emily got into college this year, they threw her a whole party. Decorations, food, relatives coming over, champagne. They made a slideshow of her photos growing up and posted it online with the caption, "Our baby girl is going places." I watched from the corner, pretending I was fine, but I was shaking inside. I graduated college this past May. I was the first in our family to ever earn a degree. I invited my parents months in advance, sent them the date, the time, everything. They said they'd try to make it. The day came, and I looked for them in the crowd. They weren't there. I walked across that stage, hearing everyone else's families cheering, and all I could think was how empty the room felt. Later that night, my mom texted me, "Sorry we couldn't come. We were exhausted from helping Emily move into her new apartment. No congratulations. No, we're proud of you." Just that. I sat on my bed and cried for the first time in years. It wasn't even sadness at that point, it was just this deep, hollow feeling. A few weeks later, my mom called to tell me they were having a family dinner to celebrate Emily getting into some special program at her college. I told her I couldn't make it because I had to work late. She sighed and said, "You could make time if it mattered to you." That was it. Something in me snapped. I told her everything. Years of frustration and pain came out all at once. I told her how I've felt invisible my entire life, how they've always treated Emily like she could do no wrong, and how every achievement of mine has been brushed aside like it was nothing. I told her I was tired of pretending. It didn't hurt anymore. She got defensive immediately. Told me I was twisting things and that they love both their kids equally. My dad joined in, saying, "You've always been so sensitive. You need to grow up and stop keeping score." That's the line they always use when they're guilty, "stop keeping score," as if acknowledging pain is petty. I hung up the phone and sat there for a long time. Then I packed a bag, called a friend, and moved into a small apartment closer to work. My parents called me dramatic and ungrateful, said I was breaking the family apart. But for the first time, I didn't care. I wasn't leaving out of anger, I was leaving for peace. It's been a few months now. I'm still healing, still unpacking all the ways that kind of childhood messes with your head. You start believing that love has to be earned, that you have to constantly prove your worth just to deserve attention. I'm in therapy now, and for the first time, I'm starting to believe that maybe I wasn't the problem. Maybe I was just born into a family that only had enough space for one favorite. The irony is, a few days after I moved out, Emily texted me. She said, "They're freaking out about you. They keep saying you're being dramatic, but honestly, I get it." That one message meant more than anything my parents have ever said to me. I don't hate my family. I don't even think they realize what they've done, but I can't keep living my life waiting for their validation. I used to think if I worked hard enough, achieved enough, or was just good enough, they'd finally see me. But that moment never comes. It never will. So I've decided to stop waiting for them to love me the way I needed. I'm learning to love myself instead. If anyone out there grew up as the unfavored kid, I just want to say I see you. It's not jealousy. It's grief. You're grieving the family you should have had, the parents who should have cared, the moments that should have mattered. And even if they never change, you can still heal. You can build your own peace, your own family, your own worth. Because no matter how hard they tried to make you feel small, you were always enough. You just needed someone to tell you that.